Yep, it's me again. Yep, it's me again. They hate me, that's why they give a fuck about me at the same time. As always, JD Miles. The MGTOWs, they love to hate. Even the ones that claim everybody loves to hate them, loves to hate MGTOW at the same time, and I'm back again. For today's topic of discussion, Vivek, I know I butchered his name, but I'm going to try anyway. Vivek Ramaswamy and Candace Owens demands the release of the transgender Nashville shooters Manifesto, and rightfully so. Again, shout out to the black conservative for bringing this to the forefront once more. The link to the video will be in the description box. The link to his full video will be in the description box. Go check him out. But yes, why is the Nashville governor and the police department dragging their feet on this? And furthermore, what makes Audrey Hale's Nashville shooting manifesto any different than any other mass shooters? Yeah, when notice how every time there's a mass shooting happening, they always get the manifesto, and it's already out there for the public to hear and be informed. But when it comes to Audrey Hale's manifesto, somehow everything has to be a goddamn secret. I wonder why. Is there something in that? Is there something in her manifesto that none of the Tennessee government officials, even her parents, don't want the public to know? Or is it more than that? But enough of me babbling. Let's hear from the black conservative perspective on the matter. Then I'll come back with my take.
Vivek Ramaswamy here, again, is doing the Lord's work by demanding that the manifesto for the trans shooter that shot up the Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee, demanding that manifesto be released. And him, along with Candace Owens, they're there. He, went out to the courthouse and City Hall to make a speech demanding, again, that manifesto be released so that we can actually, legislate and make public policy to help prevent these types of tragedies from happening in the future. Take a look.
I'm here as a father and as an American. We can't fix the past, but we can prevent tragedies in the future. And the only way to do it is to learn from those mistakes of the past. When an airplane crashes, we recover the black box for a reason. We never want to make that same mistake twice. We have a tradition in this country as law enforcement to do the same thing when there's a mass shooting. It is a long-standing tradition of law enforcement in the United States of America to, when it is recovered, release the manifesto of the shooter. We have to learn from tragedy to prevent it in the future. The manifesto of the killer was made public in each of the following instances: Allen, Texas; Buffalo, New York; Charleston, South Carolina; Isla Vista, California; Monterey Park, California; Poway, California, in all cases within 48 hours of the tragedy. The public demanded the same happen here in Nashville immediately after the tragedy in March. In fact, the National Police Association has since sued city officials and county officials demanding the same. It turned out that on April 27th, Governor Bill Lee, the governor of this state, pledged to release that manifesto. Yet today we're sitting here in August with nothing other than stonewalled silence from our government. That is wrong. That does not build public trust. That erodes public trust. I'm here today to make a demand of the governor of Tennessee, to make a demand of the Nashville Police Department, to make a demand of the FBI. Release the manifesto. Speak the truth. The hard times are the times where we must most openly speak that truth. It is hardest to speak the truth under difficult circumstances, but that is when we require it the most. I understand that there are legitimate concerns, that we do not want details released that will motivate copycats. I don't want that. The fellow Americans who earnestly have called for the release of this manifesto, they don't want that either. And I want to go on record and say it would be perfectly reasonable for the police to redact any sections of this manifesto that lay out specific plans, that lay out specific premeditated plots on details of execution that could be copied by another individual. But what we do need to know is this killer's motives.
Yeah, I agree. Right, I agree.
And I agree as well. Because that's what they holding it back from. They were holding Audrey Hale's manifesto because of the fact that they believe that this is only going to encourage copycats. What they failed to realize is the manifesto needs to come out because everybody wants to know what was her motive. What drove Audrey Hale over the edge to the point to where she wanted to shoot up a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee. That's what people wants to hear from the manifesto. All that other stuff can be kept under lock and key. But let's continue.
Need the manifesto released to the public so that we can understand the motive of the killer. Now, again, as Vivek Ramaswamy listed out there, in the past, when we've had mass shootings, they released the manifestos, the motives, almost immediately, right? You guys can make a guess in regards to why they did that in those situations and why they're not doing it now. We'll get more into it, but you guys already know what's going on here. But let's go ahead and actually play a news clip from News Nation in which they're going to talk about the FBI and the police and also apparently some of the parents at this Christian school not really wanting this document to be released to the public. I mean, at this point, it seems like at least some of law enforcement is playing dumb about the document because, again, we all know that the motive, right, behind this mass shooting is not going to play into the narrative that they're...
Exactly. It's not going to play to a narrative to that. It's not going to play to the narrative for the following reasons. The mass shooter is a female who identifies as transgender, which is on the in which the majority are liberals. Two, they can't blame conservatives or the other side that they hate and despises so much. But let's continue on.
Pushing in the mainstream liberal media, and that is why they're trying so hard to keep it from becoming public. Take a look.
Then debate has raged over a manifesto that police say...
That is why they're trying so hard to keep it from becoming public. Take a look.
Then debate has raged over a manifesto that police say they recovered. It was written by the shooter, Audrey Hale. Police have still not made that manifesto public, and some of the victims' families don't ever want the manifesto released, saying it would inspire copycats. Others, however, are calling for full transparency, including...
Encourage copycats, or is they trying to hide something from the public? Again, you be the judge. Let's continue.
Including a presidential candidate who today called for its release. Joining us now, live from Nashville, is News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh. Why is a candidate for president getting involved in this, Rich?
That's a good question. He sure jumped right into the heart of this debate, Elizabeth. He slammed officials for hiding the documents. He said Americans need the unvarnished truth. that we need to learn from this disaster and move forward.
Release the manifesto. Speak the truth.
Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy called on the Nashville Metro Police, the FBI, and others today to release the writings of the Nashville shooter, who took 6 innocent lives at this Christian school here in March.
The best we can do to move forward is to discover exactly what happened so that we may hope and we may pray and we may do our part to make sure that something like this never happens again.
That evening in March, Nashville police told News Nation they were hoping to release redacted portions of a manifesto left behind, and this, the chilling footage of the shooter entering the school and moving down the school corridors. By the next morning, they released the police body cam footage. Go, and said despite the writings they found from the shooter, they had not determined a motive.
There's quite a bit of writing to it. I have not read the entire manifesto. Our team and the FBI has been working on this.
Then Nashville police pivoted and said they would not release the manifesto. And ever since, there's been intense debate over why the police haven't released it, including whether it has to do with the fact that the shooter identified as transgender. A number of lawsuits have now been filed to force the police to release the documents. But then the parents of the victims weighed in a legal brief and said they do not want the shooter's manifesto released. Now it's important to say that not all the victims' families feel the same way. The brother of Mike Hale, who was killed in the attack, had this to say. He's in favor of releasing it. For me personally, not knowing the shooter's true motives leaves a large void in my heart in my brother's story. I reached out to Metro Police earlier today, and they told me they're waiting for a court to instruct them how to proceed. That court resumes on this topic in the courthouse behind me at the end of this month. Elizabeth?
Yeah, so I can understand why some of the parents of the victims of that tragic incident that happened that day would not want this document to be released to the public because, again, it probably has detailed plans on how the mass shooter was going to execute people, okay, how they were going to kill people, okay, and they don't want people being inspired by it or getting any ideas from it. However, I think that the public has to know, right? The public has to know what was the motivations of the shooter. And I think that you can release those motivations without necessarily releasing the detailed plans that the shooter drew up in order to execute this mass shooting, right? I think that you can do.
Exactly, Black conservative perspective. They can release the motive of what led Audrey Hale to go on a mass shooting without releasing her plans of execution. That is what the people is trying to find out. That's what this nation is trying to find out. But as long as they keep dragging their feet and try to hide the manifesto from public, what do they expect will happen? Plus, it doesn't help the fact that people are looking at this situation as the only reason why they not want to show their manifesto because Audrey Hale identifies as transgender. Oh, she identifies as transgender and other things that the media doesn't want to talk about. So basically, they're looking at a double whammy. The longer they keep withholding the manifesto, the more speculation and suspicion it's going to cause. And I guarantee you, it's going to be 10 times as worse than putting it out. Off the rip. But I said what I had to say. The link to the Black Conservatives Perspectives full video will be in the description box. Go check it out. Go check them out. Tell them J Mouse sent you. With that, I said what I had to say. I'm done, and I'm out this bitch. Later.